You know what? We haven't heard the Walking Dead intro for a while. Spin that shit, musicality. So, if you haven't read the title, there's going to be spoilers. Going to be talking about the comics and my overall thoughts on why I think Carl is not working for the television series of The Walking Dead. Now, hold on. We are at a point where in the comics you see the transformation of Carl, and Carl is played by Chandler Riggs. But you see the transformation of Carl in the comics where he starts really becoming a badass. He starts really turning a new leaf. That's when we introduce Negan. That's when we introduce a war. I mean, there's a lot of things still to come. I don't know if it's not gonna be step by step the same in the television series, but they're going with the same. They have a game plan. They're going with that's the blueprint right there. The upcoming arc or the upcoming villains and upcoming storylines. However, I feel like the writers still don't know what to do with Carl, even though when they have the blueprints. And the reason being, too, is that Carl is growing up way too fast. Carl, you need to calm your little ass down. Calm down. All right, you're growing up way too fast. And the Carl that... How old Carl is right now, he's basically a teen, right? How old he is right now in the show, he's as old, on the freaking comics present time skip day. Like, we're in a time skip and some time has passed. Carl, that the age that Carl is in the comics present right now, this present arc, this present storyline that's going on right now is what Carl is right now in the television series. And you don't want that. He's at this point, Carl is still a child. He's still a kid. He's not a kid, but he's still a kid in this present storyline we're at. So I think a lot to do with basically Carl is growing up way too fast. Carl is the writers know, okay, Carl is a teen right now, and we are not even there yet. We're not even there where we're gonna have like a time skip and stuff. We're not even at Negan yet. What the hell do we do? And we're on a slow kind of pace. So what do we do? And I feel like that's where they're like, okay, let's just like focus on every other character except Carl, which is a big mistake because that really just it disintegrates Carl's character. And when he does turn over the new leaf, so much time has passed where Carl's character has been lackluster and really hasn't been executed right, that when that time comes, you feel like I waited way too long. I don't want it anymore. Take it back. And I feel they need to start working on Carl's character right now. It's been disappointing. So far, we've had little glimpses, and in the comics, you see little glimpses of Carl being a badass too. You've seen, especially taking out one of the twins and stuff, making decisions that Rick makes. He started when he was a kid, and you did see that, especially when he killed that one dude with Herschel watching in a television show. But it feels like we haven't seen Carl make any really changing decisions. We haven't seen him get any screen time. We haven't seen him do anything. And I think that's why a lot of people don't like Carl, is because he hasn't really done anything for a while. Hopefully we've seen definitely some glimpses of Carl in the season. There is some story that could be told. He is holding the gun and he's kicking ass with all these zombies. But you still feel like this Carl is really just not doing it for me. And I think the other reason it has to do with Chandler Riggs. I don't want the excuse of he's a kid, he's still learning, he's just a kid. Kid actor's not that great. He's been acting since he was a kid, so he should know. He should have gotten better. I feel like he hasn't gotten better. I feel like Chandler Riggs, he's not a god awful actor. I'm not saying that. But he's not a good actor. I seen him in another movie, a Lifetime movie actually. I remember I think it was my mom or my grandma was watching it, and I was like, wait a minute, that's a kid from The Walking Dead. So I sat down and watched it. I'm like, I wonder if he acts any different. He does not. He's still Chandler Riggs. I'm sorry, Chandler, but you're not doing it for me. Your acting is not there. You don't make me believe that you are this badass still. You just so blank expression, blank way of talking. There's nothing really to you. There's nothing really. You don't present anything for this character. You don't make this character even. A good actor makes a character evolve. You haven't really. Another reason for Carl being bad, not only for the writers, is for Chandler Riggs. It's his job to really bring out something out of the character. It's your job as an actor to really just make this character unique, have his mannerisms something special. And he has source material. He has blueprints for Carl Grimes, but I feel like Chandler just hasn't really embraced it, hasn't really channeled it yet. So, I mean, it's different. I always say it's different to bring something that you read or something that you watch into maybe like the television series or the big screen. It's always different. But I feel like Carl is not really adding anything to this character. Chandler Riggs is not really adding anything. So, I think that's the other reason. I mean, I don't want to be too harsh on him. I'm not trying to be too harsh on him. But he's growing up. He should have gotten better, and I feel like he's gotten maybe a little bit better. But it should be a huge improvement. But I haven't seen it. And I think the casting on Chandler Riggs, I could see. I would have liked to see who could have maybe played that character different. Who could have stepped in those shoes. Really, I guess when it boils down to it is the writing, and I think it is Chandler Riggs. But it's also the fact as well as, listen, the show is moving kind of in a slow pace, and it didn't have to do that, honestly. There's a lot of episodes you could have taken out, and you could have followed the blueprint of the comic books. You didn't have to necessarily follow every step of the comic books, but you could have had the pacing just as the comic books. When you read the comic books, or the comic book, and I don't like to always go back refer to the comic book, but that's what this is based on, the comic book. So what it does great is the pacing. Like it's a while when you get a chapter or an issue. The pacing is great. It moves the story along, and I feel like The Walking Dead moves the story along, but then it takes steps back. It says, "Oh, we're going. Let's take a step back and get to know these characters, and let's not go anywhere with it." I feel like there's a lot of episodes like that right off the bat. There's a lot of episodes of that from season 4. Season 4, I believe. A little bit of season 5 too, with Daryl and Beth. Even though I think I appreciate Beth even more after those episodes, but there was that one particular episode when they burned the house. I was like, it's not cutting it for me. With the governor, even though we did introduce Tara, but there's just been a lot of those kind of episodes that just really don't go anywhere. That just really focus on, like, just last night's episode with the Alexandria. They expect us to really get to know Alexandria people, but they're gonna die. All right, a lot of them are gonna die, and a lot of them are not interesting, and a lot of them are douchebags. So why would I care about these characters? The only one I guess I would care about is Jessie, but honestly, she kind of bores me. So with that, I think it's also the showrunners and stuff that it's their job to make the pacing and overall the evolution of Carl really factor in. And him growing up, it's not Chandler Riggs' fault that the show is kind of holding him back. It's not Chandler Riggs' fault that the show is moving in a snail pace. It's whoever's running it's fault. So I think we could have benefited with a lot of, at this point, a lot of Carl's storyline. We could have benefited with Carl actually being a little bit younger and actually them giving him something to do and getting into those storylines where Carl actually does do something, especially when Negan gets involved. Of course, it's all about the money. Of course, I understand that the show wants to just milk the shit out of The Walking Dead and really have those episodes where, okay, we need a Daryl episode because Daryl is the most popular character. We need a Maggie and Glenn episode because those two are the most popular couple. So let's focus on them. You know what? We need a Michonne episode because we need to focus on Michonne a lot more too. So I understand the milking process of it. Moo moo moo, cow cow cow. But that hurts Carl's character as well. That hurts Carl's character because we want to get into those storylines where Carl actually interacts with the biggest interaction, and that's with Negan. So that's how I feel about Carl at this point. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot more other stuff I could say, but those are the main reasons why I feel like Carl is a disappointment in the television series. That doesn't necessarily mean that they can't change it around. It doesn't necessarily mean that, okay, they have a game plan for Carl. They know that Chandler Riggs is growing up way too fast, and they have a game plan where, okay, we know how to factor this in. We know how to make Carl a very pivotal part in this story, especially when he's growing older. But right now, they're not doing a very good job. Right now, I feel like Carl definitely, hopefully in the upcoming this season, they do give him a lot more stuff to do, and then maybe next season it will be all about Carl. I did hear that Carl does have a major factor in some of these episodes, but I don't want some episodes. I want like every damn episode. I want at least some development for Carl, damn it. It's long overdue. So Carl, Chandler Riggs, Chandler, it is what it is. I just think you're not a very good actor, but you know what? I don't necessarily think it's all your fault, buddy. I think it's a lot to do with what's going on, the pacing, the way the showrunners are running things. So it's not all your fault, buddy. But what can I say? That's how I feel about Carl right now. Thank you guys for listening. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Would really appreciate it. Like the video if you like it, and comment below. Love to hear you guys' thoughts on Carl. I know a lot of people have opinions on this. A lot of people always say, Carl's not bad. I don't know what you're talking about. Carl's a badass character. If you feel that way, that's fine. That's fine if you feel that way. Let me know why you feel that way, and I would love to respond to that. And not in a negative way or anything like that. Just love to respond and say, oh, you know what, a lot of people give me great points of why they think why they think maybe I'm wrong on a lot of issues, and I appreciate it. Like, if you have strong opinions and strong points, man, just bring it on. I love it. I love to hear everything that you guys have to say. That's why I make these videos. These videos are more like a conversation. What do you guys think? Here's my opinion. What's your opinion? So, Television Carl is definitely a strong opinion. A lot of people have different reactions, different feelings about this. People have different feelings about Chandler Riggs. And definitely a lot of people have a lot of feelings about comic book Carl. But this is not about comic book Carl, but kind of it is. But it's more about Chandler Riggs and his portrayal as Carl and how the showrunners are dealing with Carl at this point, since episode 1 to now. And it hasn't been good in my opinion. So, till next time, guys. Till more The Walking Dead. I will see you guys later. I'm Dead Man, Son, and I'm out.